Welcome to the show. I just wanted to drag everybody along with me as I'm trying to go through my baits that I pulled out a while back. And when I'm sitting down here doing some live streams, I've been looking at them like, there's still baits in there that I might like. Maybe I was, too hasty in pulling all of these out. But I also want to just talk about the fact that you can kind of overwhelm yourself when you just, in my opinion, you overpack your tackle box, which I've basically done ever since I started the channel. And you guys know the deal. Get whether it's the cheaper baits from AliExpress or just the baits that you are being pushed on us from. And I don't get me wrong, love the guys, Tactical Bassin. All of the now almost every pro has a YouTube channel telling you, oh, this bait and this and that, and so almost everything in here. I've probably even caught a fish on it, but if I feel it's not as good as my other like rattle trap baits, I'm like, just like I'm carrying that around, and I know when I open that tackle box when I'm out on the water, I grab my bait that I pick over these like every time. So why am I even carrying these around? And I've talked about it before. A lot of these baits I use as sacrifice baits. Like if I'm throwing into where they're I either don't know if there's brush or not, or there could be, or there definitely is, but I just want to see if there's a fish there, and I know I'm catching them on, say, rattle trap, so I just grab a cheap rattle trap and I throw it, in case it does, get lost. It's not one of my favorites, and it's definitely not like a 8, 10, 12, $15 bait. It's a, couple dollar bait off AliExpress. So anyway, we're going to go back in through here. I just dumped out, if you guys remember right, for those of you that haven't been following along, I had them just stuffed in this thing, setting over here out of the way, and I just kept looking in and seeing things that I'm like, why don't I just keep throwing that? Look at this poor dude. So if you remember right, if you follow the channel, in a land far, far away, in time far, far ago, the cheap AliExpress baits. I think this is the first rattle trap I maybe ever bought off AliExpress. And I bought another one because it does catch fish. These baits and all of the... And so I did order another one of that color and some of these others, but I just... And I'm kind of using the rattle traps as an example, but it goes for pretty much any bait. And I don't have a ton, but I don't fish like with a ton of baits, but... This is now my box with 6 Cents, the Booyah Hard Knockers, the Strike Kings, and I'll be honest, I've got just as much faith in these as I do Strike Kings, but you do not have near the color selection. Strike King does have a crazy assortment of colors, and this is just this size. And I still feel that a lot of times the bigger 3/4 ounce, like in the Strike King or the Booyahs, are kind of better. So anyway, that's kind of the deal. But I'm like, you know what? Even if I have to stuff these or just drag them along and throw something like this in the boat while I'm out, kind of deal. Some of these baits deserve a second chance. Like for instance, this bait, it doesn't. Sorry, you're out still. This bait, I did throw enough. It's a AliExpress. I know, we're going to go one by one, sort of. But, like, that's just I don't know. It's an okay square bill, but I don't have any problem leaving that one out. Let's go through this real quick. Oh, boy. It stuck a frog. I don't know how many of these I got in there, but these were, I think these are the ones from Academy, maybe. They're just a smaller frog. Although it should be a good hookup ratio, I just don't feel, these definitely won't, you can't throw them in as much gunk the way the hooks are. I'm just not a fan. They looked just kind of like the Booyah Pop and Pad Crushers. I got one right here. A smaller version. But just get the Booyah Pop and Pad Crasher, or in my opinion, the new Z-Man. These, they're going to catch a fish. Any of this baits in here will catch a fish. This dude, those were those, I can't even remember the name of it now. But I had Norm Coulter even paint this one custom. But this thing, I never really found the place or time where I really like these deep diving square bills is basically what they were. They were called something funny, and I'll remember the name, but right now I don't. But that bait takes up a lot of room, and I really never find myself throwing it. The one I did throw more, I destroyed. And these are just, I mean, you guys, here we go. Penny for your thoughts. If you guys have these or have ever fished these, or let me know what you think of these. I think they're, oh, the Freak. Is that the name of these? The Freak? I just never, and this one I just got laying here because it's actually too far gone to really try to use as a bait anymore. So these other ones, what I'll probably do is sell them either to Charles at $1 or probably $2 a piece. I don't know if I can let these go for $1 a piece, or I'll just throw them. Even though I don't plan on really fishing them, and I got a couple of these, the Freaks, RC. Oh my God, who made this mess? So yeah, these and this one, I've thrown it, but man, not much. Well, you can tell by the like. This one just kind of set in the box and got a little cracks. Like these are old. These are pretty old. The Freaks. I don't know how many more I got. Oh, I got another one in there. Jesus. Yeah, these just took up like a whole bunch of space that I never felt the need. I don't do enough. First of all, just deep water cranking in general. But I thought, oh, a square bill type bait that won't get hung up, that I can get down a little deeper. But I just never really. They're still staying out. And then these funky things, while I'm sitting here staring at them, let's get them out of the way. There might be another Freak or two in there. We'll talk about the frog baits here in a minute. There's one of them. Used to be one of my favorite colors, but I don't like skirts like this anymore. I used to love these. You just pop them on, real simple, easy. I don't like these anymore because I don't like the umbrella, what I call the umbrella ballooning effect. They slow your baits down too much in the water, in my opinion. So, although good colors, I have several of them. Brand new skirts that have never been used. Even these came from AliExpress, I think. They're all history. Definitely don't want, I just don't want those anymore. And then this color. These came on the cheap, the Roger jig heads. If you remember, you buy 10 of them, they're $1 a piece. But I hate that color. I mean, it's good color. It's just green pumpkin, I think. But I don't like a plain. This one's actually not a bad color, but I always like mine with just a little something else in them. And so, yeah, a lot of those, I just don't like those. I'm just trying to get these out of the way. So let's talk about these baits real quick as we continue on. These, if you come across these on AliExpress, I know they will catch a fish, but I threw them just enough to realize I don't like them. A couple things. You can get them like a different way, like a kind of the round or the square bill, but these horribly cast, like the way it bends and they veer this way. So any sort of accurate or long distance, I feel, and no more than how they work in the water. Maybe they have a time and place. Maybe I missed the boat on where or how they work. This one is crazy cheap made. Looks, colors are off. This one's actually not bad, but I did not find myself liking these, so they're out. Should I give them another try? Yeah. And I'll probably be coming across more of those. I'm sure I had more of those. So let's talk about the bait that I definitely have confidence in. I definitely love, but the square bill deal. So I kept a few colors, but I don't throw the true S crank enough to just have a bunch of different baits in a bunch of different colors. I had a few of my favorites that I've liked. But these were like, you can get them, they're the Megabass knockoffs that are custom painted all over on eBay. I think you can still get them like $6 to $10 now. They used to be like $20, and the Megabass ones are actually 20 and they don't rattle. These do work. Tie directly on it. Even if you meet, like me, I use snaps, so sometimes I just snap them and throw them. But if I'm in a slump and I'm really looking for a bite and I think they're going to hit a crankbait, tie directly onto these. These definitely have a way of veering off. They just change directions for no certain reason. It's just the way Megabass designed them, but they're not great in cover because they get hung up. But these are actually good baits, and I did keep a few, but I'm not keeping, I don't even know how many more in there. Not a many. This one was just one of my, I don't know, I guess I don't really go to enough clear water where I feel this one would work better than the bassy bluegilly color ones that I ended up keeping. But that is it's a good color and a good looking bait, but I'm gonna leave it out. I was gonna try to find a few more of these so I could talk. Oh, here's another one of those. So here's a bait I'm probably gonna put back in, but I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm just trying to weed out the ones I definitely know I don't want, and then we'll talk about the ones that I think that I spotted that I'm gonna give another try. This is gonna be a short video, but you know me, there's another one of those funky ones. I'm trying to find these because these, oh, I had another one of those. I bought 2 in that color. I need to give these another try, even if I just throw them in another box or just have my, I guess I need to just throw my throwaway stuff that like is, you know, the expendables that I'm not afraid of losing in just a separate deal that I take out on the water. So let's talk about, in my opinion, and that just was, yeah, that's just that. I think I got that from Matt. Get rid of some more of these skirts to make the clearing out. Oh, I'm keeping this. Let me put that back there. I don't even know I threw that in there. So let me talk about a couple, in my opinion, letdowns. From Strike King, and I know some of you guys will probably be commenting like, I catch fish with those. Well, I probably have caught a few, but these little dudes, in these different ones, this bad shad, and then this is a digger. These just, I really thought I was going to like these baits. I really thought, I was like, all right, these are going to be like awesome baits for me. They just didn't impress me at all. I thought I would like them, but I'll be honest, they didn't impress. You guys tell me if you like them, but I didn't like them. I'm just not enough confidence. Didn't like them enough to even keep them. Here's another one of those. That's actually a good color. I know I should keep. That is actually a very good bait. Very good bait, but I'm not keeping it. Definitely catches fish. I've caught them on those baits. Not that necessarily that one. There's another bigger version of that. Digger. They come in different sizes. I thought, okay, I'm going to get these. They come in different sizes. You know, I can have a few of my favorite colors and all the different ones I make, and I got a few to try, and they just never were like lights out. Like you can tell, you guys know the deal. When a new bait or a bait comes out that's a proven thing, like when the chatterbait first come out, and when a lot of these baits first come out, they just go gangbusters because fish hasn't seen that exact action or whatever. And no, these did not impress me. Now these, I really thought I was gonna like. Strike King, them deeper diving, kind of a square bill thing. These suckers get hung up on rocks. Like these things do not impress me. Not impressed whatsoever with those at all. I know there's probably some guys that are tearing them up with these, but I'm not one of those guys. I could not make myself like this bait, and there's probably a few more in here. I think about 3 or 4 different colors. Give them a shot, try them. I wanted them to be able to just slightly bang off of harder cover, whether it be not really a true laydown, but if there was any types of wood, just stuff that a normal crankbait might get hung up in. I thought these wouldn't. These did not impress me whatsoever. And they definitely they don't get, wasn't like they were gangbusters getting bit. And here's another one. Yeah, I had the chartreuse black back. I mean, I had all the good colors, and just it wasn't like, oh wow, these are catching fish. It was more like, man, these kind of suck. They're hard to work. They want to get stuck just on rock to where I literally can throw a regular crankbait there and it doesn't get hung up. And these are sticking on stuff that I felt they shouldn't. So yeah, here's another one of those, because this is a good color. Well, a lot of those were good color, but another one of those little digger things. Man, those, you see them in the store and you're like, man, those are going to work. These, I honestly never even gave enough of a chance, but they're the cheap AliExpress, like $1.50, couple dollar baits that square bill sort of, but I just never I didn't really like the way they looked or felt once I got them on the water, and I honestly never really gave them a very good chance. I do like that color. It's kind of that's my idea of a bone color. It's white with just the slightest little hint that it could be turning yellow, like that. This color, I don't know if you guys if it'll come out compared to this color. See more yellow. Much. This is more yellow. I do not like. Actually, I'm taking this one out. So this one, I just pulled out of my box that I hadn't thrown out yet. It's out. You're out. You guys are all out for sure. And I already had these out. I'm just going through to get the ones that I want to retry because there are some baits in here. So I already talked about that. The digger, that AliExpress bait that just not impressed. Why do I have so many Booyah Pop and Pad Crashers in here? Let me set them off to the side for now. These, there's definitely, any buzzbait will catch you fish, but there's a time and place, and I've kind of went to where, there was a time where I was throwing, little buzzbaits a lot. If I just wanted to, throw regular buzzbait, and the minute I'm like, oh, they're not really hitting buzzbaits, and I try to go down to a smaller buzzbait. But now I kind of just veer off and try something like totally different kind of deal. So, and I don't like that style. They work, they catch fit. I just like the old school I've talked about, like that first black one I threw down. That's the style I like better, but I probably got way too many buzzbaits now as it is. So let me finish getting some of the stuff we've already talked about out of the way. There's another, probably my least favorite colored one, but I think I actually did catch a fish or two on it. But yeah, those S-cranks, quite a few of those. That is an actual dark sleeper. What's it doing in here? This isn't a... Oh, I think that set it, and you could probably set it somewhere, straighten the tail out, and it may still swim like that, but I just found myself not overly impressed. I know a lot of guys swear by this bait. I should just lay that thing down and just try it again. Dark sleeper, you're coming back out. A lot of guys just love that thing. I'm just like, I'll either throw a swim bait type thing or I'll throw a jig instead of that kind of in between. But I may need to try those again because I think Brew Tank, isn't it the dark sleeper rod you got trying to trade me? If I were to get that, I'd need some dark sleepers. And you can get the knockoffs. I don't know if they're any good or not on AliExpress. But if you guys remember right, not necessarily that bait. That bait doesn't get hung up. But I had the sleeper craw. Bait works, catches fish, but man, I bought two, and they tend to get hung up. They're not like as weedless as you would think. They look like the hook's not there or whatever. Me and Charles was throwing fishing around wood, and like I hung up. I think I lost both of them. I was like, dude, I'm not spending that much money on baits that just don't work. Okay, let's go through these real quick, and there's still going to be some other ones I'm going to be pulling in or out as we're whittling down to nothing. Let me see. Oh, here is a small, that little freak. I was thinking, okay, BFS freak, right? Buy one of those little bitty freak dudes. And I had Norm Coulter paint one and all that, but just is a bait that is, it and all the other freaks end up just setting in my tackle box, and I never throw them. That's why I pulled them out. Here's a baits that actually work, and they work pretty good, but it takes a finesse way to fish them kind of thing, but I have caught fish on them. You can get them in all different sizes and something. Those scatter, I think these are called scatter wraps, aren't they? Yeah, the scatter wrap. I do kind of like these, but I'll be honest, I don't know. I probably, for whatever reason, I am not a huge Rapala fan. It's probably due to the price. I admit I'm a tightwad. And the fact that they also, once you do get one that starts working real good, they're not, some guys will argue, a super durable bait. The balsa stuff, I mean they're good, don't get me wrong, but I just, due to the price and all that stuff, but these do work. I just found myself, though, I was always ended up trying something else because I feel you have to work these. They're more like if the bite gets tough, then you slow down and kind of finesse with these, in other words. So I feel there's a way to like I'm always about like, well, let's try this and oh no, let's jump to that and find a faster bite, if that makes sense. And then when I slow down, typically I don't slow down with hard baits. I slow down with soft plastics of some sort. You know what I mean? Or like just go to a swim, like a soft plastic swim bait, something like that, instead of a hard bait. Hard baits I want to kind of be search baits. The bite's on. I'm fishing. The minute I slow down, that's the only reason I can justify that I kind of stopped using these, because I'll be honest, when you slow down and start using these baits, they will catch you fish. But I feel that you got to get into the more in tuned with the bait than almost any other bait out there. But they do work, but they're not for me. I know. I'm talking about stuff that I don't even want to fish anymore, but trying to justify how it does work, why it does. What is that bait? Oh, that's a broken one, I think. I don't know. I'm gonna get rid of it. Okay, so we're coming down to, let's get rid of some more of this real nasty stuff. Let me read a few comments. Here's my favorite type of blade on a buzzbait. Just the old original. Like, I think this is a very original one, because when I remember first fishing buzzbaits, you know, we'd do the thing, tie them on your antenna of your car, or you'd want to make sure this is pinched, and everybody's talking about, you know, how good, you like literally you're testing yours against your buddies, like, you know, how good your squeak kind of thing. But that is kind of the epitome of the perfect buzzbait, except I kind of, like I mentioned, the smaller, the little whatever buzzbaits, they do work, do catch fish, but I'm kind of that just half-ounce buzzbait or bust, right? Go to something else. Go to a Pop Max, Pop Bet, you know, something else. That's just another one of those. Ew, that rubber band, something started melting on that sucker. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about a few others that I do like. There's another one of those baits. I need to just, I got so many of those, they were only a couple bucks. Let's talk about this bait while I got it out. Let me see if I got any other, that's another pop and pad crusher. Let me set these over here. That's one of those other ones from like Academy that it's got the good design. See how the hooks are kind of propped up? I don't know. This bait just, I don't like it. It'll get bit, but your hookup ratio is nowhere near as good as a Booyah Pop and Pad Crasher. Okay, here's just another, you know, little finessey buzz bait. Catches fish, but I'm kind of, BFS buzz baiting isn't really for me. I like to, other stuff. There's another one, kind of smaller size. Definitely works, but no. Let me keep this frog out here for now. We'll talk about frogs in a minute. These baits, this is the one, if you guys have watched the channel from back in the original, Crazy Bait only has one hook, but it does catch fish. First time Emily went fishing with me, she caught her giant, probably her personal best that she's caught while she's been fishing with me on, I think that actual one with the purple. So they do work, but I don't know. I probably should keep that and throw it in with my bigger swim baits. I do have two of those. So they last forever because I never throw them, but these will catch a fish. Are they the greatest thing in the world? I don't know, but they're going in. I got so much room. I just throw them in with my bigger. I might do the same thing with these crazy things. I'll just throw them in that bigger swim bait box of mine. Carry them around a little bit longer. So let's talk about this thing, and I probably should give it more of a try, but I've tried this when other stuff was hitting, and I thought, well, we'll just see. I mean, it's chatterbait, right? Like this thing, I should be loving this, but I tried it, and I tried it, and I just don't think I like it. But you know what? You talked me into it. I'm going to give it one more shot this season and try to figure out how, when, where, why this bait's made, and can I catch fish? Just because it's like one little bait, I'm going to give it another try. These actually work. The killer bees. I just got a few. I don't throw them enough. They're kind of like the Rapala thing, the Bagley baits. I do have some this exact bait, but like in a bass color that I actually had Norm Coulter paint, I think. But I just don't keep a ton of them. But these little baits do catch fish. They go And they're not horrible about getting hung up. Like you don't want to throw them through laydowns like you would a traditional square bill. But these, just the way they're designed, kind of the bigger front bill and not crazy, like they're pretty decent baits. That was never one of my favorite colors, and I've already got a couple that I did keep. So, but they do work. This bait's just another one of those cheap lure star popper things. Not really popper, but like a walking wakey type thing. And I dropped one of the hook. I don't know what I was doing with that, but anyway, I just have so many other baits. Definitely works. I don't know if I've caught one or two fish, but I just don't. I've got enough of those little cheap BFS ones that I really. This one's out. It will catch fish though, I guarantee you. I guess let's. These jigs, football jigs. I want to say maybe I kept one, or actually, this is what my. I'm going to keep these just for casting things. So I bought these, and other than this color, which I ended up turning into a casting jig, once they came in person, I mean, the black and blue one will work and will catch fish, but I've got my Rogers ones, and uh, I don't know. They will work, but they're just not like they're not impressive enough of a color, and I've got other jigs that I'd rather throw before these. And I don't really worry about jigs being sacrifice jigs. Most jigs, and the good ones, like even the Strike King, Fluoro flipping one, Denny Brower, Hackney, those guys are like a couple of the best in the thing of like jig stuff. So their jigs are legit, or some of the other like just the cheap ones from up at Rogers, or these. I mean, these will work, but I just have other jigs that I kind of like over these, even though these are cheap. I just never found myself pulling these out and using them, so they're not going back in my tackle box. But that is a pretty good. Is that the exact one? Yeah, that's the right one. They do make for pretty good just cast testing when you're trying to throw the bigger stuff. Just seeing how hard and fast you can cast without backlashing. It's a good way to set your rod up if you're out just testing and then you want to go fishing. No, look at that. That actually is a good color. I don't know. I just found myself not ever using them. You can tell how new they are. I never even reached in for them. I was throwing some other jig. So they're not going in the tackle box for sure. I'm going to talk about these in a minute. We're going to talk rattle traps is what we're going to finish off talking about. So we're going to leave all the rattle traps. You see them, they're popping up out of the woodwork. But I want to talk about these chatterbaits because, as you can see, we're starting to get accumulation of chatterbaits also. So I wanted to talk real quick before I go to chatterbaits or rattle traps, which is probably two of my favorite things to throw. Here's another one. I was just looking. I forgot I even still had this. You guys know I love. I don't know. Let me read the comments real quick. Yeah, the P5 Dark Sleeper Rod. How much did Brew Tank pay you to say that so he can he's trying to trade. Here's what Brew Tank's trying to do. Now, he wants to do, I think in his mind, he wants to do a straight across swap, but that ain't happening. But I might take some boot and the Dark Sleeper, he'll have to pay his shipping on his end because it'll be more for rod and I'll pay mine on my end. Dark Sleeper rod for well, not exactly back to stock, but this 7-to-1, the original Steez Limited. These are still, well, you can't get this one, but the price was like $460 or whatever, and that's what they still sell for. And I want to say most of the I'm going off Digitaka pricing. I don't even think they sold this in the States. If they did, it would be just like it'd be more than the regular Steez until the Steez 24 came out. So you're probably talking a $650, $700 rod, and the P5s were $500 here, or they're like roughly around $350. So it's about $100 difference on. Now he'll pay more for shipping, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to get rid of any of these just because this one you can't get anymore unless you buy another used one, and this one's kind of like new. Other than I switched a few parts and have fished it, but I don't, as far as I know, and I love this thing because there probably is a scratch on one of the three I've got, but you can't find a scratch anywhere on that. So that finish is definitely one of the better finishes so far I've seen Well, I guess I'll go ahead and say it. On Daiwa reels, this is probably the best finish on a higher end Daiwa that I've ever seen because they're notorious for the finishes not being very durable on especially the magnesium steel stuff. So anyway, back to this, and then we'll talk more about other stuff after we get done with these baits. But this is just like the slobber knocker, right? Not slobber knocker. I'm looking down at this bait. That's a slobber knocker. Jabberjaw. I forget what axis or something. I forget what they call this thing. But I fished this one. Now this is the only one I bought, the only color, and I'll be honest, the color is anywhere close to this in a Jabberjaw. I also never did that good. You guys know the one color I've done real good with the Jabberjaw. But here's why I'm thinking about taking my Jabberjaws and getting rid of them too, because I don't think the way they're clearing them out, and there's only so many colors available at Tackle Warehouse. I'm guessing they're either not making them at all anymore, and or they're going to revamp something and change them completely. So they're clearing out. But anytime you see it's like a clearance and then everything just disappears, and they're usually means that one's gone. This one they're still making, as far as I know. 6 cents, like you can still go on there. All the colors seems to be in stock, but is that just because nobody's ever bought these and they're there from forever and eventually they'll be going bye-bye? And you guys comment on these, the Jabberjaw or these, if you... I feel there's just times when they'll kick in. They're not really a great, I'll be honest, they're not really a great square bill. The Jabberjaw of mine anyway, I can get them all hung up. Like they're not the greatest square bill, but there's just that thing, just kind of like what a chatterbait will draw you strikes and get bit. There's times when the Jabberjaw anyway seemed to do that when the normal square bill wasn't, when I was in my trying them. But this bait I never got that confidence in. So I definitely, like now, I feel I just take my ATVs and I need to get those in the colors I like in 3 different sizes. The 1.0s, the 1.5s, and probably even the 2, did they make a 2.0 or 2.5? And just get a few different ones in the colors I like and just live on those because those go through cover. So you can be throwing them in normal conditions. You can be throwing them when the cover does come up. And like when I was throwing a Jabberjaw or anything like this, or even like those Strike Kings I was showing you earlier, with the longer bill, I felt like they was okay in open water, but then the minute you're coming up on something, you're like, oh, better get me a, the Dig It or Strike King 1.5 or, some true square bill that will get through stuff. You can literally throw over a submerged tree and it'll come right through it. So that's the square bills I like, and I probably need to weed out all this stuff. So as I'm talking now, I'm trying to tell myself, should I throw this back in the box? You guys comment below. If any of you have fished this and actually have several, you like it and you swear by it, I may try it one more time, but if not, it's going bye-bye for sure. And then I'll talk about this one right beside it that I had set. No, we'll keep it with the other ones. All right. Are we down to... No, we still got some more. This one is just... It's not a rock crawler. I don't think. What does that say? Fat Papa 55. I just fished this one exact bait enough that something about it, I just do not like it. I like the rock crawlers. I have a few of those, but that one I just don't put any on the same level. Now, something I may have been doing wrong, but I've got enough of the other firetail ones and the actual rock crawlers that I don't want that bait anymore in my box. So we got 3 things to talk about after we get done with these 2 baits. We're going to talk about the frogs, the rattle traps. Oh, we got 3 baits, topwater baits, and chatterbaits. And then we're going to end this video. I'm serious. I was planning on making a shorter video than what this turned into, but I'm sitting here going through everything. These baits, these are knockoffs. These are all from AliExpress. They were fairly cheap. This one I didn't like the color. Hang on, they're tangled up. Get the... So this bait right here, I probably should have kept it, and I probably should still use it because it does catch fish. I didn't like how bright the color was on it, the belly, so I scraped it off. And actually, it's a good overall looking. And you know what? I'm keeping. I'm throwing this with those guys in my with the swim baits because I'll just keep it in there and try it at different times. It's worth keeping. I've definitely caught a few fish on this in the short time that I did try it once I scraped it down, and I do kind of like the way you cast it a long ways. It's like heavy that way, but this bait is sort of legit from AliExpress. It's a knockoff of the is it the shower blows or one of those, but yeah, keeping it. We've got several over there. We're keeping this one. Kind of a smaller version, funky hooks. I could probably put different hooks on it. But in my opinion, if the smaller size, what it does, I feel that I have more confidence in throwing something like this if I feel I need to go down to this. So I'm going to keep that big one. This is still a no because I'll just throw one of my if I want to do like a walking, I'll throw a Pop Max and I'll also pop. This kind of spits, does little things different, but I was never impressed with this one. I kind of was with that one. So that one's going bye-bye. This one, I do not like. I love me some Whopper Ploppers. This fat Whopper Plopper, any of the ones I've tried, I tried to change the color. I know, I'm artistic. I know. No, hold your applause. I get it. The fatter ones, I don't like. Normally, I like everything fatter, like me. But anyway, I just am not, for whatever reason, they will catch fish. I feel you're better off to go with the littler one they make now, or the 90 or the 110. The 110 go down to the 90s, like the finessiest of the bunch back in the day. Or if you're throwing BFS, throw that littlest one. This size, I will never buy again. I don't like them. So yeah, let's go now we'll go to the frogs because do I want to keep any of these back? These are all good frogs. Booyah. It's probably just because I don't have enough room in my boxes nowadays for all the other topwater stuff I got. Booyah Pop and Pad Crashers. Black and blue, right? My favorite chatterbait color, black and blue with the gold blade. Maybe I need to put some gold on this frog somewhere because I do not have confidence in, and I know a lot of you guys, oh yeah, black is awesome topwater bait. I do not have confidence in black topwater baits except for like a buzz bait. And a lot of people, yellow belly, right? Yellow belly over white belly. I have more confidence topwater in white bellies. My personal, I don't know why, but I do. And I have thrown these a bunch. And the frog one that I have, wherever it's at, but that one is the color that I have more confidence in over all of these. And I guess that's why I threw out, because usually I grab the frog and I grab the one. And I don't grab any of these is probably why these were originally in there, because these all catch fish. And then we'll talk about this one. Hang on, let me grab my top water thing. What do I even have in there now? My goodness, why am I throwing away all these baits? Oh, I know part of it also is the fact that I kind of switched up a little bit of my topwater theories in game, if you guys remember right, when I started throwing these swim baits. So a lot of times, even though it's cool and fun to catch them on a buzz bait, a popper, or whatever, a lot of times when they're hitting topwater, and you could catch them in the explosion on tops, but if you throw something like this, and it's just under the surface, even though it ain't that true like topwater blow up and hit, a lot of times you'll catch the bigger ones like with that. So just those smaller glide baits, I feel changed up a little bit of how I like to approach. So I'm like, because I feel if they'll come up and they're whacking whopper ploppers, that the big whopper plopper, that glide bait is almost the sort of similar thing. There's a smaller one, as you can see. That's probably my favorite color. You can see white belly, got that little hit of yellowish chartreuse stuff. I like these, but, and that's I almost 100% positive that's the original whopper plopper I bought, the very first one. And I don't think I've changed. Nope, they're all rusted. I haven't changed the hook. Sharp as can be. That's one thing. River Seeds, when they make something, they make good something. That one's a knockoff. I think these three little ones, those are the 90s. That's the original. The two little ones, this one over here, that's like a elegy bone color. You can't get it in the Whopper Plopper itself, but the Rogers has a knockoff that's like elegy bone, so I got it to try and really haven't. I don't know. Then we got the Chapo. There's videos of me comparing this to the Chapo. A lot of guys try to swear by the Chapo, like, oh no, it's just far superior and it's better. But I just kind of went out and tested them. And I think I may have bent that blade wonky, or is it supposed to be bent that way? But I'm just telling you guys, you can't beat the originals are the best. There's hardly ever any baits that actually come up and really, really surpass them. I still swear by this one, the Whopper Plopper, a better pick than the Chapo. Is the Chapo either right there, or some of you, for whatever various reasons, may say it's better? That's fine, because it does work. That bait definitely is a good bait. That's why I still have this one. It's not laying in this pile that I threw out. But I don't think I'll buy any more Chapos. I think I'll stick with my Whopper Ploppers. And I believe you do have. I don't think the Chapo. I don't have to look. The size difference. If you have more options and size differences, I don't remember. But so let's move the Chapo out of the way. So we're talking frog. So if you guys remember right, and I've got my other. I think I got somewhere. I've got another Z-Man frog, but I bought a little one and a bigger one. But the bigger one is actually the one I like because it's not a lot bigger. This is like actually smaller, but the hookup ratio and the way these work, so they're a little deeper, but they still, I don't know, it's just hard to explain how this body, the crushing, maybe because it's higher up, so it allows them to have that hookup. I don't know, it's a little different because bigger one's even better. But I have, right off the bat, when I started using the Z-Man ones, I liked those. And then I did keep my old, that's the color. I don't have any rattles in that one. Oh, that sucker's starting to get smashed. But that's my favorite color period in the Booyah Hard Knocker with that little bit of yellow and the white belly. So I did keep it, but then I'm missing a frog somewhere. I must have it in my day box. Is probably why it's not in there. So yeah. Awesome bait. So yeah, I'm going to keep these out. I know there's a time, certain colors I should probably switch, but I've got between the Z-Man that I probably might get a different colors in those. I'm keeping the one Booyah Hard Knocker. Yeah, that's enough about that. And we talked about the Whopper Plopper, that big fat one. Oh, we didn't talk about this frog. So back when I was comparing frogs and trying the Z-Mans, I forgot to do this. All right, then we're going to move on. I'm going to try to get this done within an hour, but this bait, I was reading comments. Scum frog, I just have, it's crazy how it looks like it'll collapse and all that, but I don't have any confidence. I don't like the way it goes. I don't like nothing about the way it sets is weird to me. I just did not like this bait at all. No more, no need to keep talking about it. Booyah Popping Pad Crasher or the new, just something just shattered. Oh, that's how old that thing's getting. Anyway, let's put this back up before I destroy it. I need to probably pick up all new. I bought a few new. I think I've got one still empty, a new one. New boxes that fit into that tackle box. But anyway. All right, let's talk about chatterbaits. So if you remember right, I've talked about it in several videos. The shell cracker, Omega custom tackle, used to throw these along with just a regular Z-Man original. And, you know, at any given time, the regular Z-Man or these, I think, felt like they jumped around a little bit and had a sort of a hunt to them. But then I got away from them. And as you can see, I think I still have, oh, that's the one I've got, I showed in another video yesterday or day before or whenever. I robbed one of the blades, but I'm going to actually rob that gold blade and put on another one of my knockoffs. But I kind of got away from the Omega custom tackle ones. So yeah, I probably should rob those. I probably should put that gold blade on one of my other black and blues. But these still work. I mean, you can still catch fish, but I just kind of went away from that style to all pretty much Z-Man or knockoffs of a Z-Man, as I'm getting ready to talk about this, but I'm taking that gold blade for sure. I ordered these and because I wanted heavier weights, but I didn't realize that they were going to come with these heads that aren't really shaped like a true, well, I don't even have a chatterbait sitting here right now. But like I've talked about, you need that almost an archy style head. Like you need that wider head to where the blade literally hits. And if you can see this one, like it starts to nick up. And I think that's the magic in a true chatterbait. Yes, they attract fish and all this and that, but that true magic is the way that blade either hits or how it restricts this from moving any more. Something of that is the magic. So anytime there's these baits that don't have that style of head, they're not for me. These are awesome looking. I'm sure they'll work. I'm sure they will catch fish, but not better than those true jackhammer looking knockoffs with the same style head. So that's why those, I bought them and they're out. All right. Okay, got a little work to do later on today. Last one of these guys, and I don't even know why I took this out, but the slobber knocker things, I'm going to kind of give them a shot because right at the end, I was not liking these whatsoever. And then I'll be honest, because they're more subtle. They're not as a violent of a thing, right? And it's like, well, these suck. They're not good. Here's the deal, though. I got on one little bite in colder water to where my chatterbaits were not working, but the slobber knocker, this was. These may not even move as much as the original ones. These are all knockoffs. They're $2, $3, $4, whatever they are. So I'm definitely I've got the other ones out and in my box. This one somehow escaped me, but I'm gonna get it back out and try it. So basically, this probably be one of the first chatterbaits I'm going to be trying it, or this style, even though the water's cold, and then along with the other ones. But then I'll kind of try to see again if there's any other times where these may shine over the regular ones because they have a little more. You can't feel them thump as much, even as you're coming back. You can just tell you're fishing this and not a jackhammer or a Z-Man original or Mini Max or a big blade. Big blade, you can tell you're fishing big blade. But a jackhammer and any roughly half-ounce chatterbait, it's hard to tell a difference between a Z-Man original or jackhammer. Some guys say they can. I'll be honest, I really can't. I can't tell the difference. I can sometimes tell difference between what trailer I've got on which one, if it's letting it move a little more or not. If it's just feel like it's dragging it, kind of thing. But as far as the blade, this one you can definitely tell is a more diluted, more subtle chatter. So I think in the colder waters where I definitely had that one day. It was just one day, but man, a little kind of light bulb went off like, well, maybe I don't, maybe I need to try to find my place for those. So anyway, let's end with, as you can tell, I've got a bunch of that I threw out of my box. Custom, never again. Not custom, would never again ever fish these baits. Not this little dude. We're gonna give him one more try. So we got some bait. We pulled out a little bit of stuff. Let me move these over here. So here's the big dudes. This one I have no idea. That's another one. I don't know why I threw it out. I still have the color. This right here. Same bait, just different color. I don't know why I threw that color, because that's actually not a bad color. I don't know what I was doing, what I was thinking, but it's going back in. So we got another one definitely going back in. Got these. Got some oldies here. Trying to get them all up here where you guys can see them. So we got those big ones. There's another little dude that escaped me. I don't think he was supposed to go in. Talk about these and then just slide these up in here. So these, I got one bait hidden in there. That's that little Strike King, and I'm going to give it another shot. I didn't realize it was in there, but just a flat-sided, cold water type deal. I am going to keep that dude too. I got to find a spot for him. Here's the only one of these I think I've ever bought. Magic Man. I think it was on sale and not a good color for me anyway. And I don't know. Magic Man 75. You guys comment if you like them. It's more kind of like a one. I don't know. I did not like anything about that bait in just a little time I fished it. I know it could be just because of the color, but I don't hear a lot of people talking great things about them. These things I do need to. They will catch fish. I need to figure out a way to just get them to where I maybe keep as throwaways, but I'm not sure yet. This guy's going back in just for the fact that I bought a bunch of these to try again, and I'd only bought, I think maybe it was just this one and then the other color one that I don't know where it's at right now. But I had like two. Tried them a little bit, didn't probably put enough time on them, but I am going to pull this one back out. He's going in with these. I think I might be able to fit him in. Oh my God, that box is getting so full. So yeah, these are the cheap ones from AliExpress that have not impressed me. No, I'll be honest though, none of the smaller rattle traps impress me. I used to always fish half ounce, but now I'll be honest, I've fished 3/4 rattle traps probably way more than I do anything else. Even the Strike King little dude that I kept, I should probably keep because this is a good looking color. And it's just, it's a rattle trap. There's times when all it takes is to be a rattle trap and you can catch fish on them. But then there's times that them subtle differences in them do make a difference. And as you've seen, I've got so many in here. And I did keep a couple of those funky ones just because they're funky colors, and I just kept them because I had room. But I bought these were cheap, like $1, $2, maybe $1 a piece. But I bought quite a few different colors. I should probably figure out where to put these. I'm going to do that. I'm going to move these guys out. So I just had 2 of those I kept. So now I have all of those, 6 or 8 of the smaller. Those are like a knockoff of the Raid. These are, I don't know if they're a knockoff of just what, but a little bitty, I know, flames, right? It's fast. You can catch whatever with that. But these little dudes right here, and these dudes, and maybe all these. Maybe this whole thing I'm just going to throw in another box because I do have old boxes laying around. And then just, throw in their own little old box and big, what does that say? Oh my God, I can't even hardly, oh, big square bill. No, that's not big square bill. What does it say? Goliath swim baits. No. So I may do that. Just put them in its own separate thing, and just like if I'm going with somebody and I don't know where I'm going, maybe I'll, if I can remember, grab the box for my throwaways. Because I assure you, these will catch fish. Any square bill, any lipless has an opportunity to catch fish. Do not like that color. Very crazy, no hardly any noise, but a huge bait, but could have a place and time. Now, I may just go ahead and do that, put them in their own thing, but here's what I may do. I may throw these along with these other bigger baits, throw these up there with my, I'm going big bass hunting would be an also alternative. Throw that on the tequila baccarat. And, I'm just in that little bit of looking for a bigger fish, more aggressive bite. And then I don't know what I'm going to do with these. But anyway, the ones that are going back in for sure, that Quake, that little dude there, kind of those little niche, I can find a place and time for them. So I might as well find a place in my box. The trick is remembering what you've got in your box, when, where, how, and all that kind of stuff, if you know what I mean. Because I try to keep each thing I fish other than in my day box. And those of you, I'm going to just show you a glimpse of it. If you first time you're watching the channel, I kind of created this day box thing out of this way bigger box, but I've got it so stuffed I wouldn't even I don't even know what this thing weighs. Like, let's see what it weighs. So, let me see. Got a dumbbell here that weighs 5 pounds. Yeah, that's probably probably more than what the dumbbell weighs, but there's a bunch of weight and just baits in this day box thing that are stuffed in there. Jigs, chatterbaits, spinner baits, some hard baits here, and then a couple of the bigger hard baits there. Just if like, I guess if I had to go, there's my frog I was talking about. The bigger Z-Man frog. I got him up in there. I've got the big, that's a Tackle Warehouse exclusive. I love that color. Caught a couple big bass on it the last the first season, the only season I had it, I definitely like that color. And if you look, the belly, it's like almost just clear of that little hit of orange up. I'm shaking holding this box on the edge like I'm holding it with one hand. Oh yeah, these baits, I think I need to get a few more of these. I kind of like those. They drop that thing down and you put a swim bait on them, that Berkeley Fusion or whatever. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to get out of here. I got some rod and reels to get. I'm going to rig up some of these rod and reels and go out and do some cast testing today. It's going to be in like 50 degrees. So I'm going to get out and just kind of see what I think of the new handles, cast and reel in some stuff. And, since I can't go fishing, and see what I think of that. Let me read some of these comments and then we'll move on. And oh yeah, this isn't Fireball. This isn't Fireball Friday. Here's a little trick. Now somebody told me they made this. I never tried it. Of course, I drink Diet Coke, but cinnamon Coke. They said that actually Coke had cinnamon Coke out. But if you like the idea of that, because Fireball Friday, I just tried it one day. I just took a shot of Fireball and put it in with my Diet Coke, and I'm like, man, that tastes good. So I just started. When I'm, want to, I don't know, a drink or whatever before I go to bed and just like to settle down kind of thing, I started drinking. I don't drink a lot. I know I sound like on the channel, I got a Fireball Friday. I just started doing that. I'm not really a drinker. But I found an alternative during the day. I know I'm not drinking. This isn't Fireball. But you can take Diet Coke or Coke in a red Solo cup. Just, like if you want to go, especially for those of you FBI agents that are out trying to catch people that drink. And you can take the little cinnamon candies from like the Dollar Trees where I go. They got this big old bag for $1.25. Little cinnamon candies, and I put like 2 of them in my Diet Coke, and it's just like a cinnamon flavor. If you guys have ever drank cherry Coke, some of you younger people may not like the idea of any of that, but like back in the day, and they kind of coming back a little bit. There's cherry Coke they've sold forever, but like we used to have chocolate Coke, vanilla Coke, like you literally take and squirt like there was like a lot of different flavors of Coke, right? But anyway, cinnamon Coke, I like that. So I'm to the point now where I just pop a Diet Coke, unless it's like right out of the refrigerator cold in a can. I don't like Diet Coke anymore. I like Coke Zero. When I'm driving, as ice melting or whatever is what I drink at work, and then when I'm home, I drink Diet Coke with a couple of them cinnamon things in, or on whatever night I feel like drinking a thing of Fireball or 2. It's usually either just 1 shot of Fireball or 2 spread out through 2 Diet Cokes, or just 2 shots of Fireball, 1 glass of it, and be done with it for the night kind of deal, right? So yeah. Anyway, enough about my drinking. Let's read these comments, and then I'm going to get out of here. Oh, these are hunting baits? I don't know. I don't think I saw that thing hunting when I was trying it or not, but I'm not sure if that's going to make it back in. Everything else that you see, all this stuff up here for sure, I'm going to go put it back into action in a box somewhere and make sure and kind of make it a point to try it at some time here or there. Jim ordered 3 Duo Realist mid-roller 40Fs. It costs enough to get the free shipping out. Yeah. You can order 3 baits and you clear the $50 price point, so you got free shipping. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Baits nowadays, like, oh my God, like what happened? Oh my God. You're like, you're just kind of browsing through Tackle Warehouse. I've done this. I don't know how many. You're like, oh, I'll try that jig. Oh yeah, Z-Man's got a new color of this. I'm gonna try that. And then you jump into, like, if you go to anything Japanese, or any of these new companies, and then even Spro, man, like what happened to you, Spro, like, oh, that, well, we got a new bait and it's got a new color scheme that we don't have anymore, and it's like 24.99. Like, what? 8.99 to 24.99? It's that much better? I mean, they've gone nuts. And honestly, it's because we will, as anglers, because I can say I will because I have gone. Like Mega Bass, I will buy Vision 110s now. I buy the plus one juniors now. I don't know if I'll ever buy another true Vision 110. Probably will, but I'm definitely not a collector. I'm not gonna, some guys buy every color of everything Mega Bass comes out. So all Mega Bass has to do is have this bait. This isn't a Mega Bass, and they're like, we're gonna add a pearl white blackback shad. I want it. They buy it. They're just collectors. And then, so the insane prices on baits is ridiculous that you could go out and lose two baits and have lost over just a bunch of money. And then the Roman bait, like the swim bait guys, are on a whole other level. The custom, anybody that's buying custom baits is technically on another level, but you can have guys that are making custom chatterbaits, or these smaller companies that are putting out, like Omega Custom Tackle isn't a huge, they're bigger now, but like when I first, like they weren't huge. But you get a guy in his garage building a bait, and you get word gets out that it catches fish. It's insane how much money people will go spend for wooden swim bait, just different stuff that glides, and a lot of the Japanese stuff. That's why I'm like, if I have to have it and it's within reason, I may just get it to try it, because like you can't knock the Mega Bass Vision 110, this Pop Max, because, and for example, the cost of the big Whopper Plopper, it's like, oh, that's 12, 14, whatever. They last like forever unless you're a dummy and lose it. The baits, like, they just last. There's some little magic to them that they get hit probably, at least as much as any other bait that's been made like them, or more, generally more. And so, you can justify that. Like a Vision 110, 19.99 or whatever, like it sounds like a lot of money, but honestly, if you go out there and you're throwing that bait and you're not abusing it, it's going to last a long time. The one I have is like insane how just many years and how long it's lasted me on the first one I bought anyway. I've got more since then, but like but then there's that though. There's with any bait, you stand the opportunity of losing it, and it's hard to justify spending that much money. Yeah, I'm telling you guys right now, when it comes, that's why BFS, man, it's just like go to AliExpress and get whatever, because usually it's kind of hard to, like, in my opinion anyway. So the minute this thing gets bigger, it needs to have something more special about it to get a fish. Like, it's going to get their attention, but there's got to be something that either ticks them off enough or creates a reaction strike to get them to go ahead and commit to it once it becomes a bigger and bigger bait. So, but in BFS, in my opinion, what I've found, like once you downsize and you get so small, even though it's you're only gonna, like, I'll settle for 8 and 10 inch fish, like I'm happy with catching those in little creeks and streams. But when you're fishing with them little things, they don't really have to have, in my opinion, a ton of magic to them. Just like those, if you guys know what I'm talking about, the little dice things that they're out now. It's basically just what these kind of do in the water, but you can almost do it like what I feel works as good as that does. And so you could basically take you a jig that is tie you up a jig type material, kind of like what the Keytex are, to where it's all poofy, like the front and the back are kind of like the finesse jig, you know what I mean? It's just spread out, but just kind of rig that up on a hook on like a drop shot and just shake it. And you don't even technically even need a bait on the back of it, because they're just hitting that fuzz. They just think it's some sort of bug in the water, and that's what they're thinking those dice things are. They're not 100% sure, but once you get that small, like them little crankbaits from AliExpress, let me get that out. Let me look. Hang on. We're not even talking BFS today, but Them little knockoffs, they're all knockoffs, I don't know, but. And then I'm out of here for sure. I got stuff to do. I got to rig up some rods and do some little cast tests. I'm just playing around, really. But once you get some of these baits little bitty, like I feel like these are the ones I need to hurry up and get some. Oh, I do have one. Is that? That's the mega bass. So these little dudes right here. Where's the other ones at? Oh, I put some in the day box. I need to go ahead and rig up some feathers on these. But these are supposed to be real good. But then also these do work, and that's kind of why I talked about that other one I threw out earlier. These are awesome just plop them around. Once you got something kind of small plopping around on the surface, you can usually catch fish. I need to redo that. But like these little poppers, these are the real little ones right here. Those little poppers are like on a next level, even smaller than my favorite here, these little John Koo ones. And these little suckers just get hit. So they're small, and then when you get these ghosty ones, they even technically, they don't have as much of a presence, but that pop, and then the fish look, and then they just see there's a bug, there's something up on the water. In my opinion, you don't need a lot of precise, stuff in it, like these little dudes right here. And so I found that really, once you get their attention, and it's a little bait, they're going to come up and, like, most of them clobber it. But there's a little bit to it. But like this right here, is that the original one I bought? Frankenstein. Do you guys remember Frankenstein? That little bitty crank, just flat. There's never a time when you can't go out and throw it it only goes so deep. But any shallow water where there's bass, bluegill, crappie, or whatever, that will always catch fish. It just flat out works. It's one of those where if you're looking for bigger fish, don't pull this out, because you'll start throwing this and you'll start catching little ones. And if you're on BFS stuff and just having fun, like, you'll just all day be tearing up little ones. I'm not saying you can't catch a big one on here, but it's the chances are, because the little ones don't give the big ones time to come up and get it, kind of thing, when this one's on. So it's one of those baits that I like for that. And I've got a few deeper ones here. These are pretty good, but most of these little cranks aren't really, in my opinion, a big bass bait. Like, they're just so good at catching little fish that the little ones don't really let the big ones go by and get it. But I think anytime you have some of these, like once you get into this and they kind of stall out or whatever, you might have a little bit of a chance. I don't know. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say here with these small baits, but oh, look at that. I even got a little bitty. That is the smallest of, and that's an expensive bait. That's a Rapala. No, Rapala. That is a freaking rattle trap, but not a lot of confidence in these little guys. They work, but not any confidence. That little dude right there, I just kept it around. I mean, it doesn't take up any space, but once I get this small in a crank, I feel you're better off with like the little flashback chatterbait, some kind of plastic little swim bait thing. Once the crankbaits get that small, so I guess I'll try to show you. Like, that's a square bill with just a single hook. And let's just look at so yeah, here's just a half-ounce red-eye shad, which isn't a big bait. Let me try to see if I can find. So a very small bait, like what I consider like on that right at the edge on the high end of BFS that I love, is the Dig It. So this is smaller than a 1.0. Look at how giant it is compared to those little bitty cranks. So And I'll be honest, the biggest problem I probably use with these is I go too big a line. I think these you would honestly want to get out there and throw on no bigger than 2 pound probably. But I just don't go that low. But I'm keeping these. There may be someday I will, but right here's what I like. These are pretty good. I think they're the same brand maybe, but they're size up. They do have the dual hooks, but look how much. Like I said, that is smaller than a 1.0 by a little bit. So way smaller than a 1.5, and that is a little bitty crank. Now my favorite, and I guess I should show you that one, because some of you guys may have already bought these, and you can get these on AliExpress. My favorite nowadays on a small crank is probably still this Proveros. So there's a Proveros. You can't get this color, but you'll find this bait, and you'll find some colors, but you won't probably be able to get this color. I think I only have a couple left. I just like that color, but that's a small bait. It's a touch smaller than the Dig It, and as small as I really thought I would want to go, but then you can go smaller. But I'll be honest, this box doesn't even really go anywhere with me on, like, I don't get into this box if I'm out doing little, or not little, if I'm fishing anywhere other than little ponds, little creek, stream, little bitty stuff. This is what that box is for, my true BFS box. I usually end up throwing some BFS gear and on then like so here, or a shaky head or a Ned rig or something like that, and you can just fling out with your BFS stuff when I'm fishing bigger water. But then when I come for the little small creeks and streams, this stuff is what. But I will plan on using the the Karashi, which you can throw on a BFS, but that's actually pretty big compared to so the littler one, I just have them together, but that one will definitely make it to the bigger waters. But really, like even this one, the Whopper Plopper 90 is probably as finessey as you need to go. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with it if you want to try. If you want to go out and BFS fish on big water, that's fine too. But for me, it takes a lot longer to cover water with BFS. It's a smaller version of fishing, right? So if you really want to cover a lot of water, get you a 7'11" rod, and get you the biggest rod you can handle to throw, one of those like ocean ones, and get the biggest rattle trap you can, and just go casting and reeling and covering water. But if you want to, on the slowdown of that would be to just go into a little pocket, a little cutout, and set and fish for however many minutes, casting some of these little baits just into little areas and trying all the different depths of the water in that area. And that's, if you want to go in, you can definitely pick out and find like come in and just pick apart an area, body of water with BFS stuff. So anyway, guys, hopefully you liked the video. I got to get out of here. I talk all day. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, found anything informative. Oh, did I even talk about these? I'm going to keep these, but these are the original Excaliburs. Then I'm definitely out of here. XR50s or whatever they were called. Was it XR? I think it's XR50. These baits were the pride, the talk of the town, Excalibur. I think Bill Dance was sponsored by him. These two colors in particular, I never really had. That's why I still have them, because I hardly ever threw them. I didn't lose them. The colors I really liked, I did lose. Then I tracked down that the Booyah Hard Knocker is basically the same thing. And then I'm tracking down now that I'm thinking the Booyah Hard Knocker along with the Jabberjaw seems to be like losing traction as far as I can't even like just jump on there and order a 3/4 ounce hard knocker anymore. So I'm trying to find confidence in other stuff that's probably the Quakes, which is this guy. So I'm going to jump on Tackle Warehouse. Probably, yeah, I don't think Rogers even carries these. I'd probably jump on Tackle Warehouse, order a couple more in different colors, because I have like 3 of this color, and I probably need a couple of the bluegill. Charles had an awesome bluegill one. I think I had a bluegill one. I must have lost it. But I need to get a couple more And look at the goofy hooks they put. Those are the hooks that came with this bait, and this is the hooks that came with this bait. And they're, why did they do that? See? Pretty much the same color up on the top. Anyway, get them back out, get them going, and try to find something. If try to, I guess, build my confidence in those as much as I have in the Booyah, since they evidently still make some of. I definitely like a lot of the colors in this, other than that Toledo Gold and the Booyah. All the other Booyah colors I do not like anymore. They've gone. They've kind of gone cheaper in how they're painting them, and they're here's, as we talked about earlier, like the ghosty color. That isn't really impressive color to me. It does work, catches fish, but like I just showed you, that cheap one I felt had probably accomplished more just on that color. So anyway, and who knows, they got the new one from whatchamacallit that may be good too. The Bill Lewis actually is kind of trying a new. You never know what may, because some people, baits are baits, but some people, it's the style of how you fish. Will a bait will just fit you better than other baits, kind of thing. If you're slow, you want to go. Not that you're slow. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you. What I'm saying, how'd you sneak over here? You're trash. If you're, you know, a slow type fisherman that wants to just, take it easy, more calm, soft plastics, all that stuff, that's what speaks to you. And you're like, man, I don't want to throw no rattle trap from here or there. But like, well, what if you go out in the colder water and you just throw it out, and then kind of bounce it off the bottom? Maybe you could try it a different way, or that kind of stuff. Some baits like to be worked fast. They just tend to work a little better. Other ones, if you're not able to go slow, like I talked about with those scatter wraps, if you're not like me, not patient, and you're a control freak, and you want to like know exactly what's going on with it, the way it kind of, you have to get in a cadence and a rhythm to let it, do its little kind of reel, and then you pause and stop and kind of do that, and it will work. Then those would work. But for me, I'm out. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. A lot more coming. I will talk to you later. Whatever you do, don't do it here, but go out and catch some fish. We're also waiting. I wanted to mention Brew Tank. I'm sure he's still out fishing, but I'm curious to see what he did. He's braving it out there, and whatever. I don't even know what the water temps are, but here it is going to get up to 50 today, so that's not too hard to be out fishing in. But I've got the old man hands. Anything below 55 degrees, I start to lose not just feeling, but the blood circulation to my fingertips. So it's actually a little bit of a scary thing when you're out there and you're like, why are my fingers white? And you have to like shake them and move them and rub them on your skin and put them in your pockets to get them to like basically come back to life. So yeah, it's one of those kind of things. See you later.